Last July, the Nigerian Judiciary lived up to its billing as the last hope of the ordinary man. After a protracted legal battle, the Court of Appeal sitting in Calabar declared Jarigbe Agom Jarigbe as the rightful candidate of the People's Democratic Party and winner of the Cross River North senatorial by-election. By-election was held on December 5, 2020 to fill the vacant seat after the death of Senator Rose Oko. On the basis of the judgment, Jarigbe, a former member of the House of Representatives, was sworn in yesterday as a senator by the Clerk of the Senate, Ibrahim Dauda El-ladan. Now joining us to talk about why he remained undaunted despite all the stumbling blocks placed in his way is Senator Jarigbe Agom Jarigbe. We'll also be opening up on what his constituents and Nigerians should expect from him as a senator representing Cross River North in the National Assembly. Welcome to the morning show, Senator Jarigbe. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Senator Jarigbe, let's start by with you taking us through your story. Senator Rose Oko died March 2020. You had the by-elections December 5, 2020, and then the matter became a matter of litigation between you and former Senator Stephen Ode. And now, finally yesterday, after the ruling in July 2021, affirming you as the rightful person for that position, representing Cross River North Senatorial District. You were then sworn in yesterday. So let's say congratulations. But what was the journey like for you? What were the challenges?
First of all, I'd like to say that we'll continue to pray for the repose of the soul of our late senator, our Amazon, Senator Rose Oko. May her soul continue to rest in peace. Anyway, going straight to what you want to hear, the senator died and the seat was declared vacant. I'm a member of the House of Reps. She was representing us in the Senate. I was representing the federal constituency where she also comes from, Ogoja federal constituency. And when she passed on and the seat was declared vacant, I opted to run for that seat. The governor had his interest. He wanted to bring one of his appointees to take over that seat. And the field was open for a contest. Eventually, he tried to manipulate that process using the chairman of the party, the legal advisor, and a few people who were on his side. And when we went for screening, they attempted to screen me out to say that I was disqualified. I was screened, given clearance to run, and the legal advisor called the screening appeal panel to disqualify me, and that was done. I went to court, I took them to court, and as is actually expected of the judiciary, they did the needful. I was cleared to run, and before then, we had issues that had to do with the ward chapter ESCOs of the party in the state, because the governor decided to manipulate that process and we resisted it, went to court. And I actually went to court on behalf of my people, and the court decided in our favor. And that case went all the way to the Supreme Court, and we came out victorious. So the governor became a little bit hysterical, and on the day of the primary for the elections, though he was, he had the field, he had all the people who were presiding over the elections nominated by himself. That was the handwork of the national chairman of the party and a few people there. When we went for the primaries, he decided that the authentic delegates were not going to be allowed access to the venue of the primary elections. And our people revolted against that. He instructed the commissioner of police that they should shoot at the delegates, the authentic delegates. A young man was killed. Mr. Onwe was killed the day before in the house of the commissioner for local government, Ayade's appointee. And they did not show any remorse. They killed him. The next day they shot at our people. Some of them were maimed. Some of them are still in various hospitals receiving medical attention. The governor never cared. These are party people. He never cared about them. Well, that was done. He used the police, his personal guards, to do all of that. So they were about using a conscripted list. And the INEC monitor was there. And I told him that wasn't allowed because we had our list certified by INEC and by the party, and that we were going to use the authentic delegates list. Eventually, we used the authentic delegates list. And the governor, I heard, used a concocted list. So the INEC monitor actually observed and wrote his report. I won the primary elections, conducted with the authentic delegates list. That fight started, the party sent the name of the governor's candidate, Stephen Ode. Actually, this fight wasn't between myself and Stephen Ode. Maybe people see it as a fight between myself and Stephen Ode because Stephen Ode was the one on the ballot. But the fight was against the governor of Cross River State, Ben Ayade. We went on and on. The party sent his candidate to INEC, and I went to court. It went on and on and on and on, and then someone else took me to court, a party man, questioning my eligibility to contest and to be a candidate of the party. I won that case. He appealed to the appeal court. He went to the appeal court. I won the case. Stephen Ode, who was contesting against me, now came to join, applied to join. And the appeal court graciously joined him, and he appealed to the Supreme Court. Unfortunately for him, the Supreme Court had nothing before them to deliberate on, because the notice of appeal was defective. And since an important document and as a notice of appeal was defective, the Supreme Court had nothing to do in terms of the substantive suit. So that matter was thrown out. And so the judgment that was upheld was the judgment of the appeal court. And I was, in that judgment, INEC was ordered to give me a certificate of return. And I was issued a certificate of return, and that was transmitted to the Senate. But I didn't get sworn in eventually because I hear there was no formal letter to me that there was no consequential order granted by the court at the Supreme Court. So, incidentally, the APC candidate had gone to the tribunal, and I was a respondent in that matter. Steve Ode was also a respondent in the matter. The case was decided at the tribunal in favor of Stephen Ode. The APC candidate now went to the appeal court, and I cross-appealed. The case was decided in my favor. When that case was decided in my favor, based on the judgment of the appeal court, the earlier judgment of the appeal court. The matter taken to the appeal court from the tribunal was decided in my favor in line with the principle of stare decisis. I was now issued another certificate of return, and the court unequivocally stated that the certificate of return illegally issued to Stephen Ode should be withdrawn, and I should be issued a new certificate of return. And that was done. Stephen Ode applied for a review of that judgment to the appeal court, and the appeal court, in his ruling, read by the president of the Court of Appeal, said that the court was functus officio on that matter and struck out their review, and then asked that I should be given 1 million naira by Stephen Ode and Joagi's son. That is yet to be done anyway, and I'm not bothered about that. But the long and short of it is that the governor tried his best to manipulate everything, but it didn't work. And I've been sworn in as senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Well, so many questions arise from your account of your rocky road to the Senate, but I'll start with the most topical, I guess. The role of the judiciary in our democracy has been under intense scrutiny of late, with the ex-parte orders, conflicting, court rulings, and what have you. What, in your opinion, has been the role of the judiciary according to you? What is your perception of it? Do you share the same view of quite a few people that the judiciary is somewhat complicit in our electoral deficiencies in this country?
Anyway, from what I saw, the only discrepancy I saw at the time was that Justice Omoade, the judge who was sitting in Calabar at the time, Federal High Court Calabar, knew that there was an existing matter, the same parties, the same issues, and all of that. But he went ahead to give an interim injunction. He granted an ex parte order in favor of my opponent and all of that. Those are the kind of issues that the judiciary should look at. I think that right now the judiciary, the president and the Chief Justice of Nigeria is trying to look into those issues, and we'll be better off moving forward.
Senator Jarigbe, can I ask you, what's the relationship now like with the governor in all of this? Because this had gone on for quite a while. There's been a lot of people killed, like you said. What's the relationship been like with the governor? And what's your the state of your party in your state now in Cross River with all of this that has happened?
Anyway, the governor left my party for the APC. Yeah. And he said he wants to socket to the center and bring dividends of democracy, to the state. My relationship with the governor, I would say unequivocally, is not convivial at the moment, because he's been very, very brutal to our people. And I'm not part of that. We've never had this kind of politics play out in our state. Even when he emerged, it was a very seamless process. Not because he was loved by everyone, but because we had sane minds, and we had a governor that was very democratic.
Well, Senator Jarigbe, let's move beyond the politics of your eventual emergence as a senator representing Cross River North. How about your legislative agenda? Because it's not enough to just, win secure victory. What is more important is what you will do for your people that you'll be representing. And we've had too many senators or House of Reps members going there to warm the bench or who are absent. And we've seen many pictures of so many senators who just go there to snore during a plenary. What do you intend to do? What should we expect?
Anyway, I'm a cognate member of parliament, and I've been in the House of Reps. I was there in the 8th Assembly, came back in the 9th Assembly. I've not been caught sleeping or snoring. I have always had my ideals. I've basically been more interested in human capital development and infrastructure development. I come from a very deprived community. My constituency, Ogoja happens to be one of the first provinces that has not become a state. And there's actually no federal government presence there, apart from our constituency projects and zonal interventions that we try to bring to our people. So objectively, I'll be looking at human capital development and infrastructural development, social amenities, and see how I can influence those things captured in the budgetary provisions in the years ahead, just like we've always done. Right now, I have projects in all the wards of my federal constituency. And in terms of human capital development, I have encouraged our people a lot. A lot of them are on their own. The issue of job creation, some of them are employers of labor because of what we were able to attract for them. But in terms of employment, we are in trouble. There are no job opportunities for our people, and the government has to be deliberate on that. Thank you.
You've sponsored or co-sponsored a bill for a university in your senatorial district now. It's no longer a constituency. What is your view of the proliferation of federal universities that cannot fully be funded, adequately be funded, and the problems that arise from that? Why do you feel that your constituency needs its own university?
Anyway, just like I said, Ogoja is in the center of nowhere, and the closest federal university, institution of higher learning, is about 400 kilometers away from that part of the state. And, our people are poor, and people must get educated. The restiveness of the youth today is primarily because a lot of people are uneducated. And if we encourage our youth to go to school, get properly educated, they will be properly groomed. And this radicalization and restiveness is going to come to an end. And I think that if the university is closer to the people, they will manage to access the university. Accessibility is something that is very important. And I think that the federal government has enough resources to fund the universities if it is a priority. That's what I think.
Yes, the need for a university being a priority, but the issues more germane to people in your constituency would be the social issues. Access to health, education, like you said before, but really creating wealth or creating credit for businesses. There's an increase in unemployment rate. In fact, your state, goodness me, tops the chart as regards that. I know you can't do it alone as a senator, but how are you tackling most of these challenges, especially in your constituency, the Ogoja constituency, you know, that has some level of remoteness?
I'm not hearing.
Okay, I said you need to do a lot. University is one, but what the people need in your constituency is that social input, health, access to healthcare and education, and also credit to be able to start up petty businesses and be able to get their lives on. What are you doing as regards all of that?
Okay, yeah, as it concerns provision of health facilities and all of that, I came up with a bill for the establishment of a federal medical center in Ogoja. That bill has gone through second reading, and there was also a public hearing on it, and I expect that it's going to go through a third reading. But now that I've moved to the Senate, I'm going to transfer my bills there, and I'll make sure that it sees the light of the day with the cooperation of my colleagues in the Senate.
Well,
in terms of, yeah.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
In terms of, yeah, this small and medium scale enterprise venture, my constituents in my federal constituency have benefited a lot, especially from the federal government NISAL loan thing. I had to encourage them and facilitate their getting those loans. And a lot of them were able to get. They have gone into various ventures in agriculture and all of that. And they are not doing badly at all. At least 200 people benefited. I had up to 200 beneficiaries, and a lot of them who applied are still waiting for that approval to be done. So we are trying to encourage them and enlighten them on the way forward.
Well, Senator Jarigbe Agom Jarigbe, we would like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning show today. Thank you very much again, and again, congratulations. We wish you all the best as you take up your seat in the Senate.